Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Master of Mayhem, Craig Charles.
You know, one of the great things about Robot Wars is that every year a robot comes along that sets a whole new standard of carnage. Like, who remembers Cassius, the first robot to self-right itself? Or what about Chaos 2? Or Hypnodisc? Or Razor? Well, who knows? We may see the next breed of robot here today. So, are we ready to push back the boundaries of brutality? Then let's do it. Johnathan, who is ready to rumble?
Thanks, Craig. It's a lineup from Robo Hell tonight, and if this crowd has an appetite for the destructive, they're going to go home with very full bellies indeed. Let's see how they line up in round one. Well, we've got experience and resilience in Firestorm, charisma in Chromalot, Reactor back again, ingenuity in the Gemini, twin clusterbot thrown in there with them, the colourful and creative newcomers like Bee-capitator, Rohog, Bot out of Hell, and Ruf Ruf Dougal.
Back to the war zone, and some of our favourite robotic stars from the Fourth Wars are here, and some robot rookies. Now the titanium's trembling, the welding's wobbling, and here's why. Returning to make my life hell and no doubt cause complete chaos in the pits are the Chromalot boys. Steve Merrill is back, and this year he's brought a friend. Ray Tate has joined the team and seems to have got his hands on the robot because it actually works. Always great fun, and now with a chance of actually winning a fight, they might prove worthy of their self-appointed knighthood. But the two to really watch for tonight have to be the awesome Firestorm, ranked 7, and Gemini, ranked 18. In the last wars, Firestorm reached the semi-finals, but fell foul of Dominator 2's axe. They say this is their year. We shall see. The wonderful Gemini is the only clusterbot we've seen on Robot Wars with 2 flippers. It's double the trouble and leaves its opponents in a spin or out of the arena. But remember this, if one half of Gemini is immobilised, the whole robot is deemed immobilised and they're out. So it's all about teamwork for those two. Now Firestorm is up first, so Craig, turn up the heat.
It's time to get it on! So, let the wars begin!
From Barnsley in Yorkshire, Bee-capitator.
A big black and orange bee on a wedge base with a rotating drill weapon, 750 watt, 24 volt power, but at only 71 kilos, it's the lightest in the heat and could be badly stung.
From Durham, Firestorm 3.
Has fought in 3 previous UK championships, reaching the grand final once. Good enough to enter the World Championship. Solid, a flipping arm, primary and secondary motors. The primary aim here to avoid being Bee-capitated.
Roboteers, stand by.
Firestorm team, Graham Bone, Alex Mordew, Hazel Heslop, and in the Bee-capitator box, John Nicholson, Martin Courtney, Gavin Barker. In the arena for the House Robots, Matilda's Flywheel and Tusks. And the awesome invincibility of Chromalot.
3, 2, 1, activate.
So this, the first of our 4 Eliminator battles tonight. Firestorm would start as the favourite because of his experience, but look for the sting there on the front of Bee-capitator. Firestorm already in underneath though, and that would be the danger for the buzzing bee. A full 1 centimetre ground clearance means that any wedge-shaped machine can come in now, like Firestorm is with another slap. Oh, look at the damage though, across the Firestorm! Went on the attack, look at the buckles! Flipper! They attack Bee-capitator. I think it was Matilda that caused the damage, and it was! I know the bee flew, but then the flywheel caught Firestorm. Too late to save Bee-capitator, counted out by the ref bot, didn't have a 3-man, couldn't right itself. But what damage now lingers for Firestorm for later on in the competition. Bee-capitator really looked to me to have too high a ground clearance when pitted against a wedge-shaped machine like Firestorm. The end is nigh. Didn't really cause a hide of of activity in there, did it? Bee-capitator. And the pollen count from the crowd is to count it out. Over the flame pit, the fur's on fire. Sir Chromalot twirls the bee and dumps it. But up in those control pods and everywhere else in the arena and in the pits, we'll be thinking about that damage to Firestorm. Top of your picture there. Beautiful. We love to see damage like that. Matilda does, and Chromalot does. Oh dear. Well, if it was a worker bee, it wasn't tremendously industrious, and if it was a queen bee, he's been well and truly dethroned. Goodbye.
Cease.
Bee-capitator on fire, totally mangled. The winner is Firestorm! Well, guys, you've had a third place, you've had a semi-final, you're seeded 7. We've got high hopes for you.
Well, hopefully, yeah. We've got a problem there with the arm, but hopefully we'll have time to fix that before the next fight.
Well, talk me through that, because, you know, you were throwing Bee-capitator everywhere, and it looked like you bumped into Matilda, and now she's got that sort of vertical flywheel. Yeah. She's dangerous, isn't she?
Not very nice, no.
And she's taken your sort of lifting arm apart a bit, hasn't she?
Yes, there's a little bit of welding to do on that.
Do you think you can go all the way?
Hopefully we'll fix the arm. We should do quite well.
Well, get down there and get it repaired.
Will do.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. Firestorm!
Bee-capitator buzzing off. Firestorm 3 through. Sir Chromalot and Rohog up next.
From Didcot in Oxfordshire, Rohog.
Wedge-like with a fiberglass shell, bit like a mauve beetle, only 8 miles an hour top speeds, though, a retractable fork which can lift 60 kilos. Beep, beep, the Rohog's coming.
From South Ockenden in Essex, Sir Chromalot.
The great stylists fighting in their third wars, never beyond the heat. A gas-powered flipper and drill, CO2-powered, in fact. The body comes from a truck wheel hub. They're very much the crowd favourites.
Roboteers, stand by.
Their catchphrase is, we're in a class of our own. Steve Merrill and Ray Tate, they look it, and they're David Smith and Andy Burgess for Rohog. Matilda in the arena again. Watch for that flywheel. We've already seen its destructibility. And Sir Chromalot, we know all about him. A gruesome past.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Sir Chromalot, all gleam and sparkle again. Look at that! Something's fallen off it right from the start. They talk a good fight, Sir Chromalot. What on earth fell off there? What have they used here? Sticky back plastic to put their machine together? Rohog, meanwhile, has slammed into the arena sideboard and has pinned itself in there. What is going on out there, Refbot? Have a look, have a word. And Rohog counted out straight away, and now Sir Chromalot can come in on the attack. Rohog steaming, smoking, no control, no style, tattered from the rear. In comes Chromalot again. The lifting fork, trying to prize Rohog out of the arena. David Smith, the robot driver, Andy Burgess, the weapons operator. Well, what was happening with your machine? And there goes Matilda with the flywheel. And the fiberglass shell of Rohog ripped apart there. Look. No wonder Steve Merrill and Ray Tate look delighted in their box. They've had an easy victory. Oh, dear. And the hog has been skewered. Onto the floor flipper for Rohog. And the only row rage from the Rohog was its own temper because of its own frailties and its own weaknesses. The shell is ripped away. Well, they say Don't crush a beetle. It looks a little bit like a beetle. If you crush a beetle, it'll rain and rain and rain. In Robot Wars, we're going to have a downpour for centuries then. We don't mind. But I tell you what I think is happening out there. The robots, the house robots, do mind the fact that Rohog was immobilised so soon, and therefore they've been punishing in their attacks on that machine. You can't bring in a feeble robot, not a Robot Wars, and expect to get away with it.
Well. Rohog absolutely annihilated. The winner, Sir Chromalot.